ARIBA, but I was interested in ARIBA and I would like to learn it from the basics. So I don't have like, much knowledge on
Got it. Thanks, Suresh.
it.
Venkata.
Hi, this is Venkata. So I have 5 years of SAP experience, and actually I don't have any clue on Ariba, but would like to explore Ariba. That's why joining this demo class.
Got it. Thanks, Venkata. In the last, we have Vilas. Hi, Vilas.
Yeah. I'm MM consultant. I'm MM certified, and what my expectations from this is that the practical knowledge is important for me. That means how do we navigate into Ariba, and second thing is that how do we meet the customers' expectations and its integration with backend SAP HANA especially. Yeah, thanks.
Got it. Okay, so thanks everyone. Thanks for your nice introduction. And it's good to hear, all of you are from the MM background. So why basically I'm asking for you about your experience? The reason is that, based on that, at least I'm getting some understanding. Either you are having some, industrial like knowledge or not. So that basically based on that, I can explain you like, about this like a process flow or about the solutions of the Ariba. So it's good to hear about that. All of you are from the MM background. Even someone of you is already working on the SAP Ariba support project as well. That's very good. Okay. So let's come to this, like talk about this SAP Ariba. So what is the SAP Ariba? But before going to talk about the SAP Ariba, let me just go to your SAP MM solution and let me talk about something SAP MM solution. And why I'm going to talk about the SAP MM solutions, I will come in some time. Okay. Now, if you talk about the SAP MM, what is the SAP MM solution? We can say SAP MM is one of the part of the SAP ERP solution, and that is offering a kind of procurement tool to the customer. And with the help of that, like MM solution, customer can perform their sourcing and procurement activities. Right. So, what is the meaning of the sourcing and procurement activities? Sourcing in the sense you can determine your source. Now let's say we can take a simple example to understand. Now let's assume we have as a customer we have received some requirement from the like business user, and we have to purchase some product. Okay, and that particular product we have never purchased from any of the supplier. Even we don't have any information about the supplier itself, right? So in that case, how we are initiating our procurement activities? So in that cases, once we receive the requirement from that like a business user, then in the next we will initiate the supplier, right? And how you want to search the supplier? It is depending on your choice. You can do online, you can do offline. So whatever the option you want to use, you can use any of the approach, and you have to find out the supplier. And once you will get the supplier information, then in the next, you will initiate your supplier onboarding activity. Now, what is the supplier onboarding activity? So you can simply say the creation of the vendor master record, right? So we have to create the vendor master or we have to create the business partner in case of S4HANA, and that is part of your supplier onboarding activity. So now you find out the list of supplier, and even you have created the vendor master record in your SAP MM solution as well. Okay. Then after that, let's assume you find out the 10 supplier and you have onboarded the 10 supplier as well. But actually, if you say you're not going to purchase from all the 10 supplier, you have to purchase from any of one supplier out of 10, right? Then how we can filter out one supplier out of 10? So for that, what we have to do, we have to initiate the quotation process. That is called as a request for quotation process, right? Or in simple, you can say that is called as a supplier negotiation process. So once we'll do the quotation process, you will receive the different quotation from multiple supplier, and you have to evaluate the quotation, and based on the quotation comparison, you have to select the supplier. Okay. Now let's assume you find out the particular supplier with the help of the quotation process, But whatever things that you discussed earlier with the supplier, or whatever the pricing or negotiation, pricing or that negotiation, or whatever the information you are going to receive, you receive from the supplier, that information we have to document it. And how we are documenting that information? For that, we are creating the contract with the supplier. Correct. So these are the activities that we have to do at the initial phases, and this activity is called as a sourcing activity. So with the help of that, we are just determining our source. Okay. Now, once your source will be in place, then in the next, what you will do, you will initiate your procurement activities. And as part of the procurement activity, you will create the purchase requisition. Then you have to convert purchase requisition into the purchase order. After that, we have to perform the receipt, invoicing process, and the payment process. So this is the overall process you are following as part of the sourcing and procurement in your SAP MM. Okay. Now coming to the problem. So whenever you will talk about any solution, so we should have some problem, right? Otherwise, if you don't have any problem, then how we have to go with the solution, right? Now coming to the problem. Now, if you talk about the supplier onboarding activity, so if you see actually how we are creating a vendor master or business partner in our SAP S4HANA or SAP ECC, so this is not the only customer requirement. Even apart from that, customer they're having different kind of requirement. While onboarding the supplier, each and every customer they want to collect some more information about the supplier, right? They would like to get different kind of certification information from the supplier. Okay. Even some customer they are expecting whenever any business user they will create the supply vendor master, so it should go for the approval as well as part of the our compliance, right? But if you see this kind of options is not there in our SAP ERP system. Okay, in some cases, some of the option we can use it, we can develop this. But if you see actually this option is not there in our SAP ERP solution. Okay, and not only this, even sometimes we would like to identify some supplier as the preferred supplier or you can say qualified supplier. Now, what is the preferred supplier? Let me give you a very simple example. So if you see, we are also acting as a customer, and in our day-to-day activities, we are purchasing different kind of product, right? So let's say we are purchasing grocery items or whatever items we are consuming in our day-to-day activity, we are purchasing. And if you see in your nearby, you may have the multiple shop, multiple suppliers are there. But whenever you are purchasing that particular product, you are referring to purchase from one individual one particular supplier. Though you have multiple choice, but you are referring to purchase from one particular shop. Why? What is the reason? So a simple reason you can say that supplier you have selected as the preferred supplier, right? Now, based on which matrix you selected the supplier as a preferred supplier, so you may have the matrix that is supplier behavior, first matrix, right? Then you can say quality of the product, second matrix, third price of the product, next matrix, right? Or you can say some credit option, that is the next matrix. So like this, we are having different matrix, and based on the matrix, we are selecting some supplier as the preferred supplier. But similar kind of activity, if you have to do in the SAP ERP system, can we do? We can do. So in the info record level, we are having the option to choose the supplier as a regular supplier, or at the source list level, we can select a supplier as a fixed supplier, fixed vendor, right? But we cannot incorporate any kind of like a matrix there, or we don't have any such option to evaluate the supplier first, and then based on that we can take decision either we have to go with the regular vendor or fixed vendor. This kind of option is not there in the SAP ERP solution, right? This is one problem. Now in this case, if you talk to customer, so definitely customer will say I'm looking some like a different platform where I can perform these different activities what I explained to you, right? So this kind of this kind of requirement you will get. Same way, let me give one more example to you. If we talk about the quotation process, so we are having that, quotation process is most favorite process of each and every customer, right? Even though you are going to receive the product in like lower cost, if you are going to get the product in the higher cost, but this is in our DNA. At least we are asking, can we do some negotiation, right? Even though negotiation will be there or not, that is different thing. But as a customer, this is our nature, and we always asking, can we have some negotiation? Yes or no, right? And we are always trying to do some negotiation as well with the supplier, right? Now, if you see the SAP ERP solution and how our request for quotation functionality is there, so what do you think? That is the only requirement of the customer? No. So the customer, they are having some other different requirement. So first requirement, customer, they want to control your bidding activity. So once you submit the quotation as part of the RFQ in S4HANA or SAP ECC, then once you save this, the supplier will receive the information and they will have the flexibility to submit the quotation, right? But as a customer, I'm not expecting this thing. Why? Because today I'm going to raise the quotation and I'm planning to work on this quotation activity by 5th of June. So I'm expecting at least we should have some control on this process so that I can allow supplier to submit the quotation by 5th of June. Can we do in SAP ERP? No. Right. Most importantly, if you talk about some other scenario, live tendering activity. You can take the example of the IPL bidding, some government agencies bidding. So that is happening live, right? All the suppliers and buyers, they will sit together and they will start the bidding activity in front of the each and every buyer and supplier, right? That is called as a live tendering activity. So can we do tendering activity in the SAP ERP system? No. Correct. So these are the different kind of like limitations that we have in the SAP ERP system, and just to fulfill the sourcing and procurement like limitations from the SAP ERP point of view, SAP come up with the Ariba solutions. Okay, so now as a definition, we can say SAP Ariba is a cloud-based procurement solutions, and with the help of this, customer can perform their sourcing and procurement activity digitally. Digitally in the sense it is completely cloud-based solutions. No need to install any kind of SAP GUI. No need to install any kind of third-party software. So whatever the basic thing you have in your laptop, in your machine. So whenever you will see your machine, definitely you will have any of the particular browser based on your system compatibility, and you will have you should have the internet connectivity. That's it. You can easily start working on the Ariba. So that is your SAP Ariba solutions. Okay. Now coming to one thing here. So why I just compared with SAP MM with Ariba, I believe it will give you better understanding, and not only understanding, even whenever you will get a chance to discuss with your customer for the implementation, or even in during some interview as well, you may get this kind of question. They will ask you a question like this. Okay. Even though this is very simple and silly question, but why they are asking? Just to check your like that knowledge, how good how good, how strong you are from subject point of view. Okay. Now, if you talk about the Ariba solutions, so Ariba is offering two different solutions, or I would say Ariba solutions are in two parts. One part is called as a strategic sourcing. So strategic sourcing, that is a new term that we are using. Earlier, we were calling them as a upstream. Okay. So now in the strategic sourcing, we have the some solutions, different solutions. And if you see as part of the strategic sourcing, we are having the solution that is supplier, sourcing, and contract. Okay. And the second segment is that Ariba downstream part, and downstream part is called as Ariba buying and invoicing solution. Even we have the catalog as well, but catalog will come as part of this buying and invoicing solution. So we can say we are having the second segment, that is Ariba buying and invoicing solution. So this is the solutions Ariba is offering. Now, if you try to map these solutions with your business process, so if you talk about the supplier solution, so with the help of the supplier solutions, we can perform your supplier onboarding activity, whatever the different process your customer or you are going to follow as part of supplier onboarding activity, that is creating the supplier, that means creating the vendor master, approval of the supplier, right? then supplier qualification process, registration process, preferred supplier activity. Even we have the option of supplier performance management as well, supplier risk also. So different kind of that process you can basically follow with the help of this supplier solution. Okay. Then in the next, we can see we are having the sourcing solution. Now, with the help of the sourcing solution, we can perform different kind of negotiation activities. So whatever the different kind of like quotation activity that you want to perform. So sometimes as a customer, we are going to follow the information quotation activity. What is the information quotation or information negotiation? You can take a simple example. You received some new product, new technology, right? You don't know how basically you have to handle the product, how to manage the product, how to install that kind of like tools. You don't have any kind of information. So in that cases, whenever you will talk to your supplier, so in that cases, initially you will not talk about the pricing part first. So first you will try to understand about the information about the product. Okay. Or you can take a very simple, very layman example. You can take the ARIBA training. So whenever you thought you have to go undergo with the ARIBA training, so definitely you try to find out different institute, trainer, or whatever, right? But whenever you made a call to any of the trainer or institute person, so you never ask the first question like what is the price of the course, right? If you already have the information, then you may ask what is the price of the course, but initially you try to understand the course curriculum. So may I know what is the course curriculum, whatever topic that trainer is going to cover, what will be the duration, when the system will be started, and either I will get system access or not. This kind of questions you asked, right? That is called as the information negotiation. Okay. So if you want to perform information negotiation, that you can do. If you want to do price negotiation, that you can do. Or in some cases, if you want to conduct a kind of live bidding activity, that is also called as online bidding process. That's something also we can do with the help of the Ariba sourcing solution. Okay. Then in the next, we are having the contract solution, and with the help of the contract solution, customer can create the contract and whatever different kind of information that is legal contract or different kind of pricing, different kind of discount, whatever customer they are getting from supplier, they have the flexibility they can include in the contract solution. Okay. And in the last, if you see, we are having the Ariba downstream part that is buying and invoicing solution. And as it name sounds, with the help of this, we can perform the buying and invoicing process itself. So we can create the purchase requisition, we can work with the purchase order, we can perform the receiving, invoicing, payment activity that we can do with the help of the buying and invoicing solution. Okay. So this is the overall solutions Ariba is offering as part of the sourcing and procurement activity. And I believe now you understood this solution is quite similar with SAP MM, right? Only differences is that in the SAP MM, we are following as part of the on-premise solution. But in case of the Ariba, we have to follow this activity as part of the digital activity. Okay. Now, I would like to come to you for any question, but before that, let me just catch up one more topic that is very important to understand for you. If you see from customer perspective, so from customer perspective, we are purchasing two different kind of material. I'm not talking about any particular product. I just mention here material because it will make more sense to understand. So sometimes we are purchasing material master, that item. That means you can say basically purchase equation or purchase order with the metal master, and that is called as stockable item, right? Or technically you can say that is called as a direct material, right? So sometimes we are purchasing direct material. That means you're purchasing master in SAP MM, and in some cases we are purchasing indirect material. And what is the indirect material? That is, you can say, consumables item, or in simple you can say purchase equation or purchase order with account assignment. without material master, right? So we are performing two different kind of purchasing. One is the direct and second is the indirect, right? So whatever the Ariba solutions we are talking as of now, this strategic sourcing and downstream part, I will not talk about the strategic sourcing, but especially I will talk about this downstream part. This downstream solution is only supporting your account assignment purchasing. That means purchasing without the material master. This is I'm talking from the especially from the ERP perspective. Okay. So with the help of this Ariba buying and invoicing solution, we can perform your consumables purchasing or account assignment purchasing. Okay. But as a customer, if you want to perform your direct material purchasing as well, that is material master purchasing also help of the SAP Ariba solution. In that cases, we have to implement the different solution. Ariba has given the different solution or module for that. That is called as Ariba supply chain collaboration. Okay. So in that cases, you have to implement Ariba supply chain collaboration or commerce automation. You can say commerce automation to perform the direct material purchasing. Otherwise, if you're going to only with this strategic sourcing and the downstream part, then you can only perform their account assignment purchasing. Okay. So this is the overall solutions of the SAP Ariba. Now, before going next, any question, comment from anyone?
Yeah, Vilas here. Vikram, thanks. Very nice explanation. Compliments to you. My question is that what about services?
You can do. Services we can do as part of this here both.
Okay, so indirect
If you want to
material when
perform
you are
a service,
saying account assign, when you are saying account assignment, of course the service will have account assignment category D. I mean this item category D. So like that, that will be covered, right? Okay.
exactly. That's correct.
Okay. Yeah. And yeah, one more thing. This contract purchase order, contract buying and invoicing will happen in Ariba or it will happen in backend ERP.
Okay, I'll come on this topic. Give me just 2 minutes. Okay, that
Okay.
will make sense. I'll explain you in detail later. Okay. Any further question from anyone? Am I clear to others?
Hi, this is Aditya.
Hi, Aditya.
Yeah, this direct material procurement is means that is without material
Raw
master,
material.
right?
No, with material master.
Okay, it will be with material master.
Like raw material, packaging items, these are the direct material.
Okay, so it's already maintained in the system.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Vikram, question. Are you teaching all the sourcing, contracting, all the models, or specific in one model?
Yes, I will take both. I will take this entire sourcing and procurement, upstream, downstream, both. That will come supplier, sourcing, contract, buying, invoicing, even CIG also. I'll come to course curriculum. Just allow me some time. I'll come to course curriculum.
Okay.
Okay. Now, one thing we have to understand. Now, let's say you are the customer. Okay. And you are using SAP ERP solution from very long time. All right. And in that cases, you are performing your sourcing and procurement activities in the SAP ERP solution. So even if you see right now, SAP ERP solution is playing very, very well, right? So we can see, personally, I would say SAP Ariba is nothing like in front of the SAP ERP solution. Why? Because SAP ERP solution is very old solutions, and out of 10, if you see, you can find out 7 to 8 customers they are using SAP ERP solution. It is doing very, very well because these are the core solutions. Okay. But thing is that as part of the digital transformation, you are using SAP ERP solutions and you are following these sourcing and procurement activities, and even you are doing good as well. In this case, in somewhere you are lagging, so you can say you are lagging in the sourcing activity. You can say you are struggling with the sourcing activity. Might be if you talk to other customer they say I'm good with the sourcing activity. I'm struggling with the contract process because in the SAP ERP side, we don't have any provision to perform the signature activities, right? So that is the another requirement from different customer. Some customer they may say, I'm good with this sourcing and contract. I'm struggling with our P2P process, right? And some of the customer they may say, I'm struggling with the entire sourcing and procurement process itself in the SAP ERP. So struggling means what? Struggling means it's not like that they are not capable to perform this or system is not capable to handle this. The thing is that if you see current environment is completely simplified. Most of the supplier they are doing the business activities online. Most of the customer they are creating the purchase order, they are placing the order online, right? So in simple you can say we are starting our day online and we are closing our day online as well, right? So that is the reason, the customer also they want to adopt this digital platform to perform the activity online, right? But each and every customer having their own flavor. So one customer is saying, I'm struggling in sourcing. One customer is saying, I'm struggling with the contract. One customer is saying, I'm struggling with that like P2P solution, right? So in that cases, if you talk to Ariba, now let's assume each and every customer, they are get in touch with the Ariba. They came to know about the Ariba solution and they're asking to Ariba sales team, like, okay, I want to implement the Ariba solution. So if the Ariba company will say, okay, you have to implement the entire Ariba suite. That means strategic sourcing and buying invoicing both. So what do you think? Is it making any sense for you? No. Might be for some customer this may make more this may make sense. But for me as a customer, it's not going to make any sense for me. Why? Because I'm only struggling in the supplier negotiation process. Then why I have to pay the licensing cost for the supplier, contract, P2P? Why? Right. So that is the reason as this whatever the Ariba solutions we are talking here, all the solutions are individual solutions. Okay. And as a customer, it is not mandatory. You have to implement the entire Ariba suite. It's not like that. Depending on your requirement, whatever the flavor you want to add, you are completely free. You can add the particular flavor. So let's say, for example, I am the customer and I want to only implement the SLP, or you can say supplier and sourcing. I can go ahead. Okay. And in some cases, it might be someone of you want to implement only sourcing and contract. You can go ahead. Okay. And even some of the customer, they want to only implement Ariba buying and investing solution. They can go ahead. So I mean to say that you can implement any of the particular module depending on the requirement. If you want to implement entire Ariba suite, you can implement. Or if you want to implement any of the specific module or any bundle of the module, there's something also implement. And depending on the like module, what you are going to adopt, based on that, you have to follow the process. For example, if I'm only going to implement Ariba sourcing solution, so only the quotation activity I will be able to perform with the help of the Ariba sourcing solution. Follow-on documents I have to create in the SAP ERP system. Okay. Or if you are going to implement only the Ariba contract solution, so that means I can only be able to perform the contracting activity in the Ariba. The rest of the follow-on documents I have to do in the SAP ERP system. Okay. And even if I'm going to only implement Ariba P2P solution, so I will only be able to perform the Ariba P2P process, I mean P2P process in the Ariba. Rest of the activity I have to do in the SAP ERP system. Okay. So I think earlier someone asked me like what documents or which documents we can get in the Ariba. So now you may got your answer. So depending on the license, whatever license you are going to adopt, accordingly you can perform the activity on the Ariba.
Vikram, can I disturb you a moment or so? Yeah, hey, invoicing will be happening in Ariba, but financial postings also will happen in Ariba.
No. Financial posting will happen in the SAP ERP system.
Okay, so only the frontal invoicing will happen in Ariba. Ultimately, for other things, you have to come to backend, right?
Exactly.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
That is the reason. That is the reason. If you see your any of the customer system architecture, let me show you. So your customer system architecture will looks like this. Okay. Now, if you see, from system architecture point of view, this is something I was explaining some CIG implementation in morning session. So I draw it. So just ignore this like wording what we have different wording here. But just see this landscape. You can see in the one side you are having the SAP ERP, right? Then another side we are having the SAP Ariba, right? Now let me give you one simple scenario. You can take a simple example of the Ariba P2P solution itself. Now let's assume as a customer, we are going to only implement Ariba P2P solution, that is Ariba buying and invoicing solution. So as we discussed earlier, the invoicing we can post in the Ariba, but financial adjustment we cannot do, right? And even Ariba system is not supporting any kind of payment process as well. Payment also ultimately we have to do in our SAP ERP system. Okay, how we can do that? So in that cases, your customer they will expect to have the integration with your SAP ERP system. Whatever system you have in ERP side, either it could be ECC or S4HANA, whatever. Based on that, they will expect to have the integration. So this is also our job to work to integrate our Ariba solutions with the SAP ERP solution, so that whatever the particular documents you are going to create in the ERP side, it could be transactional data or master data, that information should come to Ariba system, and whatever the forward documents you are creating in the Ariba side, that particular information should go to your SAP ERP system as well. Okay. So generally, in most of the cases, you may get this kind of landscape. In some cases, you may have non-ERP system as well, but we are not from the non-ERP background. We'll not talk about, right? But from ERP perspective, we have to perform the integration, and how we can do the integration. So you can see we have to place one tool, one mechanism in between of SAP ERP and Ariba, that is called as CIG, and the CIG stand for Cloud Integration Gateway. Okay, so we have to incorporate or implement CIG in between of this, and with the help of that, we can achieve the integration from ERP to Ariba system. Making some sense?
Yes, of course. Thanks. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let's come to the last topic about the Ariba implementation. So just I'm going to brief you some high level implementation process, but in the regular session, we'll talk in detail level, and we'll discuss in like detailed manner how actually Ariba implementation going on, whatever different kind of documents we have to actually prepare. That's something we'll see. So actually, whenever the Ariba implementation is going to happen, so during the Ariba implementation, we are following the SAP Activate methodology. Okay. And if you see as part of the SAP Activate approach, so we have actually four phases. Four is the important phases. Apart from that, we have the discover and run phases as well. That's something not most important. That's why I've not mentioned here. So we have to follow the four phases during the Ariba implementation. Now, if you see in the first phase, we are having the prepare phase, and in the prepare phase, we have to work on the preparation activities, right? So we have to actually prepare the different kind of documents during the prepare phases, and those documents we have to submit to our customer, and based on that, we have to take the sign off. All right. And after that, we have to move in the explore phase. And actually, in the explore phase, we are just exploring the customer requirement. So what we are doing, we have to conduct the workshop with the customer, and whatever the particular solutions your customer is going to implement, it could be your SLP, sourcing, P2P, whatever. So based on that, we have to demonstrate the solutions to the customer. Let's say your customer, they are going to implement only the Ariba P2P solution. Then what we have to do in the workshop, we have to show them one demo about the P2P process, entire P2P process, like how to create purchase requisition, how to manage the purchase order, how to perform the receiving activity, how we can do invoicing activity, where they have to perform the payment activity. All the information we have to explain to the customer. And based on that, we have to the customer requirement parallelly. So let's say you shown them the purchase requisition process, process. Then you have to ask them, please tell me whatever the different process you want to follow here, or whatever the list of field you can see in the Ariba screen. Do you want to have the same field, or you want to add some custom field as well? Okay, so this kind of thing we have to capture from the customer. That is called as a requirement gathering. Okay, so once you will have the requirement gathering, then after that we have to move to the next phase, that is the realize phase. And in the realize phase, we have to start our system setup. Whatever different configuration you have to perform based on the requirement in terms of the Ariba system setup, CIG setup, or ERP setup, we have to perform the setup. And then we have to perform the testing, then move to the UAT testing. And based on that, we have to move for the go live. Okay. So this is just overall process we have to actually follow. And in these cases, if you see, as a Ariba consultant, you are not only responsible to perform the system setup, because I have seen that many times people are thinking as a Ariba consultant or as a SAP consultant, I'm only responsible to perform the SPRO configuration or Ariba configuration. It's not 100% true. So before going to perform the system setup, before going to design your system, you should first know how your machine is working. So until unless you're not aware about the machine functionality, definitely you may face lots of challenges while designing the machine, right? So it is very essential as a Ariba consultant, you should know the business process and the configuration part both. Okay. So in the same way, we have designed our course curriculum as well. So if you see, this is our course curriculum. And in this course curriculum, we are going to, start our journey once again from basis in the basic in the sense. I would say in that first session, we'll talk about the Ariba basic, like whatever different system architecture that you may get. Why I'm talking about system architecture? Because if you see in the SAP ERP side, we are having different environment, sandbox, development, test, UAT, production, even some client specific system as well. So maybe you're thinking, okay, then Ariba side also we may have the different kind of client specific system. Okay, that we should know how we can authenticate our Ariba solutions, how we can work on the Ariba, and some basic navigation. This part we'll discuss in the initial session. That will be the part of as the Ariba basic. Okay. Then we'll talk about Ariba SLP module, and in the SLP module, we'll only talk about the business process. So this time at this moment, we'll not talk about any configuration. We can talk if we can talk. There's no problem. But thing is that at this moment we are trying to know about only our machine functionality. Designing part, if you touch, so once you talk about one designing part, the other designing part will be interlinked to each other. Okay, so we'll talk about only business process about the SLP. Then we'll talk about sourcing business process. We'll talk about Ariba Networks portal. We'll talk about contract business process, same contract compliance business process, right? Then we'll move to downstream part. We'll talk about the P2P solutions business process, how we can perform purchase request and to pay process. And up to this step, you can say we will done our half of journey, and you should be completely aware about the business process or about your machine. Then after this, the half of journey will only spend on the designing part. So we'll talk about cloud integration gateway, how we can integrate our SAP ERP solutions with the Ariba system. That's something we'll discuss, right? And we'll see whatever different configuration we have to do as a Ariba consultant. That's something we'll talk. Then we'll talk about the configuration, how to configure the different kind of template, how to configure the approval workflow configuration, how to set up our supplier, right? How to set up the master data, how to set up user information, how to set up catalog, how to set up some other P2P configuration. So whatever different configuration, that something is applicable. In our cases, we'll talk about the different configurations here. Okay. And then in the next, we'll have the reporting session. We'll talk about the report as well, because from customer point of view, report is very important. So we'll talk about reports as well, whatever different reports that SAP has given to customer. Now, once we complete this sentence, so at this moment, you will be ready to work on the implementation project. right? Now you are aware about the system configuration, you know about the business process, you are good from that perspective. But whenever we are attempting any interview, an interviewer, if you're going to show them you are having the implementation experience, so they are asking what was your role during the implementation, what is the cutover activities, whatever different kind of documents you prepare, can you please explain some documents, what is the enablement workbook. So this kind of question you will get, right? So you know most of the process, but you are not understanding how you have to express in terms of your implementation project. Okay, so in the last session, I will talk about the enable implementation process. How actually we have to perform the Ariba implementation. What are the role we have to play as the Ariba consultant, and whatever different kind of documents we have to actually prepare as part of the implementation. That's something also we'll discuss. Okay, so this is the overall course curriculum. That's something we are going to talk in the regular session. Okay. And that's it from my side as well. If you're having any question, please feel free to ask.
Hey, do we need ABAPR in this ARIBA?
No.
Okay. And the system landscape will be similar to ERP, like dev, quality,
No, no.
and production.
Same thing. No. Same thing I told you earlier. Right. So you
Uh,
have different system
uh,
landscape that we'll discuss during first session. Whatever
okay,
different
okay.
landscape we will have.
Vikram, do you provide access for practicing for Ariba this one?
You can check with Subbu regarding access fee or some other information. Please check with Subbu. He will guide you.
Okay.
All right. Any other question from anyone?
Yeah, one more question. Do you explain any one project which you have executed previously?
I will discuss at high level, not in deep level. Yeah, we will discuss. We will not disclose any kind of project name or any client name, but yeah, we discuss at high level how I implemented or whatever some challenges I faced that we'll discuss.
Yeah, of course, we don't require to disclose, but you can explain detail level, right? The project, what are the challenges you have faced? Because we are completely new for this system.
Yeah. Will that you will get during the configuration session itself. So whenever we'll talk about any business process or configuration, so mostly I'm taking the examples. Okay, so you will get. I'll explain. But one thing, guys, I'm not going to refer any kind of study material, or any PowerPoint for the session, because I don't believe on theory part, because this is a playground, right? And how much play you are going to do in this ground, that will give you more skill, right?
Okay.
Because the theory part or the information you can easily get on the books or from Google, right? So we'll only do the practical session. Definitely, I'll give you context. It's not like that. It's not like that. I will start the. Go ahead,
Okay.
please.
Similar like Ariba, there is other tools also. What the Ariba market share compared to other tools?
Ariba is very good as of now. See, we are having different competitors of the Ariba. You can take the example of Coupa, iValua. Even Symphony also came in the market. Jaikas is also there, right? So computers are there in the market, but yes, because of the SAP logo and lots of simplification in the Ariba is very popular in the market. Very popular.
Okay. So you mentioned Coupa, there's some other tools. There, what the like a more benefit if I learn the Ariba?
So do you know Coupa?
I had no idea. That's the reason I asked you what the market share of the Ariba.
I got your question, but if you're aware something, you'll say you know about the SAP MM, right? So in that case, if you ask this question, what are the benefit I'll get in the Ariba, that will make you more sense. But we don't know about the Coupa, we don't know about the Jaikas, and if I'll talk about, so I think it will go out of on the fly. It will go on the fly. But just only for a simple understanding, I will give you a simple statement. As a customer, now you can take a simple example. You are purchasing different kind of product in our day-to-day life, right? And if you see in your nearby in the market, you may have vegetable shops, grocery shops, fashion shops, right? But whenever we are to purchase, we are preferring to go in the shopping mall. In most of the cases, like Reliance Fresh, D-Mart, V-Mart, whatever we have, Big Bazaar. Why you preferring to go there? Because as a customer, we don't want to waste our time to go different shop to and ask supplier to show the product, right? We want everything on a single roof so that we can just go there and whatever things I want to take, I can take it. Ariba is same thing.
Okay.
If you go with the
Okay.
Coupa, you have to go in the different bucket, different umbrella. But in case of that Ariba, you will get all the things in a single like a glass. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Vikram.
Okay. Okay, guys. So thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
Oh,
I hope. Mhm.
hello. Yeah, this is Aditya. I would like to know means
Yeah, okay.
what will be the topics covered from integration point of view?
See, from integration point of view, we'll talk about the configuration part. We'll not talk about any model specific integration, because if we talk about model specific integration, like SLP, sourcing, contract, P2P, right? So it's a kind of big project itself. Then 3 months will be less, to perform this activity. We'll talk about only the system setup point of view. So whenever you are going to implement any of the particular module, like let's say, for example, you are going to implement Ariba SLP module. So in that cases, whatever the configuration we have to do from ERP side, that we will discuss. And whatever configuration we have to do on the CIG tool, that's something we'll discuss. So we'll talk about the different SPRO configuration, master data integration, creation of the integration project, custom mapping. So these are the different topic we'll discuss.
Okay. So at this time, do we have means access for both S4 and Ariba RAM as well, or only
No, no.
will cover from Ariba point
Same
of view?
thing. You're asking from my point of view or from your hands-on point of view?
I mean, I'm asking about our access. So at the time of integration with the other ERP, right?
No, no.
For example,
I think I'm sorry. I just before some time I just answered the question. Please check with Subbu regarding the your access fees or other information. He will help you.
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
I'm asking what while covering this topic, right? Suppose we are integrating some
Oh, you're
SLP with
asking from my point of view.
yes, yes.
I do have. I'll show you
Okay,
live in the system. Okay.
okay, fine.
But
Yeah.
again, I'm saying I'm not going to talk about any process, any module specific integration or scenario. So please don't expect, like some people say they're expecting, like please show me all the configuration and run one cycle. I want to see from Ariba side, from ERP side. This kind of thing only you can get inside the project. Okay. So
But
I'll
you
show
can
you the
show the
configuration part.
Yeah, you can show the screenshot something, right? You don't require to show the live system.
No, no,
You can
no.
show the some parameters, what are the
Let
inputs
me
and
com-
what are the outputs.
let me complete, sir. Let me complete.
Okay.
So in that cases, I'm going to show you the live, configuration. For example, if you say right now I'm in my ERP system, right? So whatever the particular configuration that we have to do in the ERP system, that's something I will able to show you. I will show able to show you in the Ariba system as well. But I will not able to show you like that one end-to-end cycle. If you're expecting, that is not possible, because the entire setup you can only get inside the project. Outside, no one is going to spend lots of amount, because Ariba is very expensive tool, right? So no one is going to spend lots of amount to have the complete integration setup. Okay, but yes, I'll show you some screenshot as part of the integration that will, and even some process flow as well, process flow chart as well, that will make you sense. It will be good look and feel also.
Okay, thank you.
Making sense? Okay.
Yep. So is Subbu there in this meeting?
I think yes. Anyway, so I have done from my side. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Vikram. It's a really good presentation, and we got the what we need to learn. We gave good inputs.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.